Today is Sunday, September 21, 2025. The news has it that it is the wife of Nigeria's president, Oluremi Tinubu, is marking her 65th birthday, and the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, reminds us of Chief Obafemi Awolowo of blessed memory, who described his own wife as inestimable jewel, a life companion, a collaborator, soulmate, and so on. With Bola Ahmed Tinubu using similar expressions to describe his own wife too, Oluremi Tinubu. And Oluremi has always been very excited about her husband, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. In 2023, she was quoted as saying that her family does not or did not need Nigeria's money, and seeking to become Nigeria's president was only to develop the country, and not because of her, and not because they have any intention of looting Nigeria's wealth. Anyway, you will think that Oluremi has no conscience, because whatever money the family has was made from Nigeria, with her husband, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, being a former senator and a former two-term governor of Lagos State. There's no doubt that Bola Ahmed Tinubu made a lot of money from his past offices, and that he also influenced Oluremi becoming a senator, and also made a lot of money from being Nigeria's senator. So they claim that the family did not need Nigeria's money, but only the intention to develop Nigeria does not hold water. Besides, let's compare and contrast Aisha Buhari with Oluremi Tinubu. Oluremi Tinubu sees nothing wrong with the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and so will not tell him, what do you mean by subsidy? What do you mean by fuel subsidy? What do you mean by fuel subsidy is gone? What do you mean by all other subsidies are gone? And if all subsidies are gone, why are you funding pilgrimage boards and subsidizing pilgrimages? Why are you paying? You said you are making a lot of money from revenue and other sources. Why do workers have to go on strike before you attend to their demands? Why are you paying workers less than living wage and asking workers to come for loan? And rather than fund the education, creating unnecessary student loan and things like that. Aisha Buhari has conscience. She was rebellious, always defending her husband, that the presidency of her husband has been taken over by a cabal responsible for the misrule of her husband. Well, she may not be totally correct if at all she was correct, but at least this is a woman with conscience, always trying to caution the misrule of her husband in her own way. But you cannot take it away from her that she's a woman with conscience, you know. But Oluremi is okay with everything her husband is doing. Her husband is doing everything as it should be done. She sees nothing wrong with sustaining the ravaging war against the Boko Haram Muslim community, sustaining herdsmen terrorism, and the fraudulent declaration that fuel subsidy and other subsidies are gone, leading to worsening mass abject poverty and mushrooming armed bandits, even with some other terrorist organizations coming to Nigeria under the rule of her husband. Anyway, the two lovebirds are rejoicing as I speak, celebrating the birthday of Oluremi Tinubu. At any rate, we also have to note that Aisha Buhari is not a pastor in any church, and she cannot be a malam. If I understand correctly, Islam. And Oluremi, on the contrary, Oluremi is a pastor of in the Redeemed Christian Church of God, and this is a prosperity gospel church that is always priding itself with prosperity, at least prosperity of the church, if not the prosperity of the members of the common members of the church. Yeah, the church will give prosperity hope to the members, while the church is boasts of prosperity itself. And so the Oluremi can say, well, my family does not need Nigeria's money. And then Nigerians will say, okay, sometimes you donate 1 billion. Sometimes you donate millions. Are all this from your family wealth or part of your the office of the First Lady? Allocation to the office of the First Lady that dares not reflect in the national budget because it is an illegal office. Anyway, let me tell you, if I can advise you, at least those who have not yet married, that when you want to marry, ask God to give you a wife that will be your conscience. That when you are misbehaving or you are perpetrating injustice, to call you to order and to make up for your shortcomings in terms of fairness, justice, fairness, generosity, kindness. But there is no employer who can claim to be kind while paying workers less than living wage. And when, in spite of making so much money and declaring all subsidies gone, still sinking the nation in debts. So all of this, Aisha Buhari made it clear that she was not for bad governance, even though she could do nothing about it. At a point, Buhari had to tell her that her place was in the kitchen and in the bedroom. That was the essence of that was the level of incompatibility between the two of them. Not absolute incompatibility, but when it comes to matter of conscience, of justice, of fairness, Aisha, without being a pastor or a cleric of any church, has greater conscience. You have to give it to Aisha Buhari. She's an exemplary woman for anybody to have. Unfortunately, her husband missed it and misbehaved throughout, perpetrating the war against the Boko Haram Muslim community, adding herdsmen terrorism to the war against the Boko Haram Muslim community, where despite his age and frailty of head, doubled himself as Nigeria's petroleum minister, accounting for nothing, and even saying he was going to redesign the Naira only to recolor the Naira, things like that. And on the last year, escalated fuel price, and everything became extremely regrettable for Nigerians. And of course, from beginning to the end of Buhari's 8 years, Nigerians did not know peace and progress. That is it. And unfortunately, Bola Ahmed Tinubu he vowed to continue in the legacy of Muhammadu Buhari, and that is what he has been doing, even worse than Muhammadu Buhari. But what we are saying at this point is that he doesn't have Aisha Buhari, but Oluremi Tinubu, who keys into everything he is doing, apparently because they have the same heart. So compatibility and incompatibility. The Yoruba people say between husband and wife, it should be that when one is goat, the other should be sheep, so that they balance each other. When one is goat, let the other be sheep, so that they can balance and level up for fairness. But this time, we have two goats, Oluremi and Bola.